two schools in Delhi, especially two top schools in Delhi and one school in Agra. Slowly we are coming up, and year on year we are improving the software and improving the technology and the implementation process. This whole process has been going on for the last 13 years. So actually, as far as company is concerned, it is an evolution process happened for the last 13 years.
So you would like to know more like how from a teacher to a marketer and then to a founder, like how it all unfold logically.
It's all related to education spectrum.
Okay.
Because I have been associated with the education spectrum for the last 24 years now. So we know the institutions knows me or us. Because what we were providing earlier also, solutions for the education institutions, training related. Further, they asked for the solution for their automation process. So he come out with an idea of automating the system for the schools first. Slowly it is picking up for the higher education sector now. So currently we can say almost all major institutions, or especially the top schools in the country, every cities, they are happy to use our system, the solution what we are providing. And over a period of almost 13 years, I could say, we reach around approximately 1,000 institutions in the country now. So that is the current assets, the current journey what we reach today now.
Okay. Sir, in your mission statement, you have a very interesting thought like deliver beyond expectations.
Yeah.
Now coming to your specific product Campus Care, like how does Campus Care delivers beyond expectations?
See, there are different secrets in our methodology of working, which other company cannot adopt or difficult to adopt. Because as far as we are concerned, this is our flagship product or project we can say, or solution we can say. There are 100% attention is given to the project, which other companies cannot do. Very big companies, they are unable to do. Why? Because it is a channel process for them. Here in our project is concerned, we are giving the full attention. The management is involved each and every project personally or otherwise. So they know what is going on in the institution, what they require, what is the expectation level. We are trying to meet their expectations through different level of deliverables, different level of supports, and different level of post-implementation supports. Because most of the projects what happen, deliver the things, company will go back, the customer is calling, they will attend. In our case, we will be having a feedback system also. Whether they are using, if they are not using, which all things they are not using. What is the reason for not using?
So you are completely getting engaged with
the customer, engage with their users, engage with their actual requirements, what they are expecting from a system.
So out of the 4 hallmarks of your product, like the product per se, the timely and effective support, and the kind of upgradations, and obviously the value for money thing.
Yeah.
Which one you would like to place is playing a major role in the acceptance of entire solutions?
Post-implementation support.
That is playing the...
That is the most USP for us. Why? Because we are behind the customer. Customer is not behind us. Second one, we can say the time-bound execution of the project.
Okay.
If you are discussing a project, first of all, we will see whether we can execute that project the way customer expects. Otherwise, we don't take the project. If we can take up the projects, we will tell you this much time is required. Otherwise, we will tell you this much time we can utilize for first phase, this much time we can utilize for the second phase of implementation. Because some of the projects we cannot take up in a single phase. So, such a situation, we will analyze the situation. We will divide the implementation methodology, or we can say level into 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. So that time-bound execution people will like, because all of a sudden if you are telling to execute the entire system A to Z, it's not possible. The customer will not receive the things. There, if you are not receiving, we will be a failure.
True. So the post-implementation handholding is probably your USP in the market.
Yeah.
As a product name like Campus Care, like it somewhere comes like as a healthcare or as a personalized touch. How does this care aspect of it comes into the real implementation of the product?
Yeah, that is what I told you introductory. It will take care of the campus. It will take care of your management requirements. It will take care of your authorities requirements or all stakeholders requirements of the institution. So we'll care the institution well than anybody else. That is our USP mainly here.
So your product has been endorsed by over 800 institutions so far.
Yeah.
And in your profile note, I was looking like there has been a specific emphasis on business ethics. Now, would you like to throw a bit like based on the ethical value system, what you are propounding and which is somewhat very rare these days, how have you been able to build up such a magnificent client base?
See, we have a strong client from starting always those who have taken our system,
Mhm.
they are still our customers only. That means our client retention.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most important again.
Okay.
Those who have taken, they have tried some other software after some time, maybe 1 or 2 years. Again, they may have come back.
Mm-hmm.
And this always we should have a comparison.
Mhm.
Then only customer will also understand which one is better than the other one.
Mhm.
So that comparison point of view, if you are taking, we are far ahead than others
Okay.
in every aspect.
Mhm.
So what happened? The client retention is almost 95% above now.
That's
So
very
nobody
good.
left us that we can say ideally, if anything.
Mhm.
So 1 or 2 or 3, we can say 10 to 15 institutions, if they left, it's not because of our problem of, not the problem of software problem, it's the problem of the customer to come up to the level,
Mhm.
to use the system, to use the technology in a better way.
Okay.
So that is the actual scenario in this particular industry as far as we are concerned.
So you would have also witnessed the entire transformation
Yeah.
of the outlook of the school managements
Yeah.
vis-a-vis technological solutions are concerned.
Mhm.
Like, would you like just briefly try to educate us as to how this technological transformation,
Mhm.
the outlook towards technology as a whole,
Mhm.
has been changing all through?
Yeah. It's a good question. Here, see, actually, as far as any educational ERP is concerned, there are 3 different verticals. One is K-12. Second one is, we can say, higher education.
Mhm.
Third one is vocational institutions.
Mhm.
Because vocational institutions are also picking it up because there are a number of skill development centers government is starting
Mhm.
through their private participation. So they are also picking up to the level of education, parallel education they are providing. We cater to the K-12. That means our fundamentals are getting stronger and stronger now.
Mhm.
So over a period of this many years, we can say these old schools, those who are failure, they are coming to us. So they will understand the system, they will go to the software, and we will guide them in a better way.
Mhm.
Our guidance is there again, the asset for the customer, because we are not just a solution provider, we are a consultant for the customer now.
Mhm.
Again, that consultancy, that advice, what we are extending,
Mhm.
later on they will understand they have guided in a right way.
Mhm.
Otherwise, that is why there is ethics behind that. Means even if some of the cases some advice, they may feel some irritation in initial time.
Mhm.
Why? Because what we are telling, whether it is true or not. Because most of the cases what happen, the institution don't have much consultants.
Mhm.
We prefer the institution should have some consultants initially to understand their requirements, to convey to us what they are really looking for or their organization flow.
Mhm.
Most of the cases they just lagging.
Mhm.
Such a situation, we always have to become act as a consultant for them.
Mhm.
Such a situation what happen, we will advise them in the right way. But some users have some reluctance in the mind
Mhm.
to change the system to a better flow, for a better automation system, because they are always very lagging to the old system, that old legacy system, like old system of DOS-based system or very old system there. So such a situation they are facing that difficulties to change over. That changing over process will take care of very comfortably for them. There we will be succeeding again.
So you mean to say that technology is no longer a differentiator, it is an enabler.
Yeah.
But even in technology, there is a transition of platforms and the
Yeah.
pedagogies which are happening.
Yeah.
So you are hand-holding your product is taking care of this regular technological
Regular
transformation,
technological transformation.
and you are taking your customers along with the
Along with
technological
yes, that is
value
what,
chain which
yes,
is happening.
That is what we are doing also, because our strategy is we are getting the orders, implementation going on successfully. So we are capturing more and more to the market, as well as we are executing the projects also. So what happen? Our knowledge level will be increasing day by day. That knowledge level, when it is increasing, we will try to evolve the software to another level now. Because when we are coming to a bigger level, to a bigger institutions, they need more things to be automated. Such a level, what will happen? We will totally we will restructure the system. The restructuring happen in every 2 years or 3 years in the system.
Okay.
That is why today what is technology latest one customer require, one institution require, we are able to deliver to them.
Okay. So you mentioned that there are almost 3 verticals which are of interest to you, like obviously the K-12 segment, the higher education institutions, and the vocational institutions. Now, as far as the enterprise resource planning (ERP) solutions are concerned, we can also say that they are the governance frameworks for these educational institutions. So, what is the difference of educational governance in a school, in a college, or in a vocational institution? Like, where the difference lies in fundamentally?
Fundamentally, there is not much difference. All are, we can say, admission to alumni process. There are 3 different domains. One is the student life cycle management, Second one is a financial management. Third one is we can say administrative tools, including their web portal, their hostel, and the communication tools. These three verticals to be handled.
Okay.
In the schools are concerned, there is some difference in the process flow, like your students' life cycle management tool. Otherwise, ideally speaking, there is not much difference between a higher education and a school or university. The process flow is same. Process flow is same, but at the same time we can say life cycle will be varying. Student life cycle in a school will be, we can say 13 to 14 years. But the student life cycle in a higher education maybe 3 to 4 years maximum. Occasional maybe 6 months courses, 3 months courses.
Okay.
So that type of change is only happening in the institution to institution or different verticals.
Okay.
Otherwise, ideally speaking, the functional flow almost same with the.
So to having such a vast experience in the ERP implementation in educational institutions, can the ERP be marketed more as an off-the-shelf kind of a product, or is it more of an experiential experience in an institution where the process re-engineering is also going through?
We are interested for off-the-shelf sale, but situation doesn't allow us.
Okay.
Why? Because every institution is unique in the functionality. We are trying for maximum generalization concept for every institution. Like CBSE board has introduced CC examination system, so that some standardization has come up in the exam process. Otherwise, earlier what happened, every institution was going on their own examination methodology.
Okay.
Different types of transcripts, report cards and everything. So because of the CC examination, some standardization happened in the CBSE board. Similarly, every board is doing the standardization process now. Otherwise, we are interested for a generalized system for every institution. But some of the cases what will happen, some process flow will be varying institution to institution to fit into the organization.
Okay.
Especially in the fees collection methodology. Some examination system, again there is a difference. Output may be same, but flow will be different for institution to institution. So that customization up to a certain level we have to take care. Then only that Indian scenario that customer will accept that product or solution.
And that's where your success parameters
there we are
through.
capable to do the fine tuning what is required for every institution. Whether it is a school or a college or a university. Once that fine tuning is not done, if in an off-the-shelf state there are multiple products in the country, sometimes we can say even from overseas multinational companies are there. But they cannot cope to the situation of Indian scenario. Why? Because they are not going to customize the requirements. Once if you have fine-tuned the requirements of an Indian customer, they will be liking that product. They need that product to continue to be used for future also. That is why we told you, if you have a comparison, then they will understand. The one which is providing is better than the other ones.
So, are you an advocate for the governance diversity which is existing in the country, or you have different opinions on that?
Means?
So basically, like all institutions should be governed in a similar tight niched fashion.
Yeah.
Or there is a possibility because educational innovations need a kind of a freedom.
Yeah.
So what kind of standardization and what kind of freedom in the educational governance scenario you would advocate for?
No, they can have an innovation in the other aspects. But the functionality point of view, if you could maintain some standards.
Standards are fine, but the implementation of the standards, the process flows, and depending on the circumstances to circumstances, what are your personal views as an educationist are concerned? Not as a technological solution provider, but as an educationist.
So in that aspects, we can say almost all the institutions they should have almost the same functionality, every aspects, academically or financial things. Even Government of India is introducing some accrual based of accounting system to standardize the accounting system to the country for getting some standardization for all higher education institutions. So that type of initiation has not happened in the K-12 area because most of the institutions where we are serving are, we can say, public schools only, not much the government institutions. So public schools are concerned, there are individual managements are there. So they have their own interest. So we have to fulfill their interest accordingly. So that is, we have to cater to that interest to the institution.
So basically technologically enforced, I would say standardization. It will bring in some standardization, but still the innovation will remain. And
innovation will remain. It's not. There's nothing to do with innovation. Innovation will be as a continuous process. It is not going to end. As long as we are doing the R&D, that project will survey, the solution will be providing. So that is a continuous process. There is no end for the R&D in the solution.
So after having served the Indian clients for so many years, like you now are projecting yourself as a global brand and moving forward. So how are you envisioning your entry into the foreign markets, and how are you competing with the best of the breed products in this domain? How are you positioning yourselves vis-a-vis tools like campus management? which is the ubiquitous solution in the US, and they are also finding space in India.
Yes, we have a solution which is already in the overseas market.
Mhm.
Our solution is already in the overseas market, but we are catering to Middle East countries, African countries first.
Okay.
Because the Indian scenario and these countries' scenario is almost similar,
Fair enough.
functionality point of view and everything.
Mhm.
We have not approached the American countries or clients or European clients so far. Why? Because the product which is to be stabilized more to the Indian scenario, we have a big market here.
Mhm.
Much bigger market. India itself is a bigger market.
Mhm.
Then again African countries and the Middle East countries also.
Mhm.
Even if it is going to the other overseas European countries or American countries, there is nothing to there is nothing less in us in our products.
So, what competitive advantage you have vis-a-vis these globally renowned products?
Yeah, so
per se?
there are one or two globally renowned products,
Mhm.
but they are catering to the just only one or two verticals in the entire project.
Okay.
For example, some companies are concentrating only in the financial domain.
Okay.
Some are concentrated only to the administrative and the web portal areas,
Mhm.
like that way. Otherwise, as a complete solution, cater to the academic, administrative and financial.
Mhm.
We are the only project which is currently available in the country.
And that too is customizable.
It will be customizable and it's Indian scenario, or we can say at the same time international quality,
Mhm.
and it's a web-based system.
Mhm.
And what will be the business model their customer require, that will be provided accordingly.
Mhm.
So there are different aspects which is getting more interest for the Indian customers
Okay.
in our product.
So, what?
Because as far as Indian scenario is concerned, they all require from we can say academic should have been there, all their fees collection, their financials, their HR, their appraisal, their recruitment, all this process to be taken care.
Okay.
But some of the multinational companies, first of all, they will not give a solution as a customized one.
Mhm.
They will give a common platform.
Okay.
We have to use or we have to understand that system what they are providing.
Okay.
They have to be accommodated within that facilities.
Okay.
Here we will understand the customer what they require.
Got it.
We will serve them.
Got it.
So that is the extra edge which we are having
So
compared
this
to
is the competitive advantage
international
which
players.
NTAB has got
Yeah,
on the
extra
global
edge.
players.
Yeah.
That's great. So what's next from the stable of NTAB? Like what you are envisioning for the next 5 to 10 years?
So we see, as far as the current trend is concerned, we are already stabilized in the K-12 market.
Mhm.
The majority top profile institutions, they are already our customers.
Mhm.
Around we can say more than 800 institutions now.
Mhm.
Higher education is picking up now very
Mhm.
faster, because the trend which we have seen in 2002 as well as the trend that we have seen in the 2012 or 13 is totally different.
Mhm.
Because initially the higher education don't have much interest in the automation process. Why? Because most of the education institutions were managed by government
Mhm.
directly.
Mhm.
For the last 20 years, we have seen the trend of more and more private players are coming in the education spectrum.
Mhm.
They are starting universities.
Mhm.
New generation people are coming in the chair.
Mhm.
So they need an automation process. So this trend we have observed for the last 5 years now.
Mhm.
So there is a tremendous market opportunity for us to
Mhm.
explore to the higher education sector, especially universities, professional colleges, and I told you the third spectrum which we are telling about the vocational institutions, skill development programs. We have a product, fine-tuned product for that category of institutions also now.
Okay.
So these three verticals enough in the Indian scenario to cater to the
Mhm.
whole education area. What
So you're
is,
stretching you're expanding your campus care to cater to the needs of
to the university level in a bigger level.
at a bigger
level.
level. Sir, after having like served 800 institutions, like there would be your experience and understanding of the educational workflows and the efficiency enhancement in these institutions would be fantastic. Like, have you done some kind of efficiency boof up studies or some tangible outcomes out of it, like how automation has transformed the quality of education in those institutions? I would like to know more about that.
Yeah. See, nowadays what trend we have seen is the more and more institutions, they are giving emphasis for communication tools.
Mhm.
So because of the introduction of the communication tools in a better way, better fashion, what will happen, these teachers are getting trained more.
Mhm.
Students are involved more into the computer and their usage, the facilities, the features what we are giving, assignments, downloading, project submissions, online fee payment for the parents. So not many stakeholders, they are getting more into the system now. So that way it is more encouraging for the users to get into the
So the
technology.
usage is getting,
Getting more and
expanded,
more
like
expanded in a
the
bigger
teachers
way,
are
bigger
coming
way.
forward, the
Yeah, yeah.
students are getting tech savvy,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
the parents are
Parents are also getting
integrated to the entire.
Yeah. Even we are giving an online payment system for the parents now.
Okay.
The education. So that itself will become big advantage for them.
Mhm.
They don't need to go to the institution to make the fee payment. They don't need to make any check or a DD to submit the fees. They can sit in front of the computer. They can deposit. online transfer can be initiated, or we can say ATM cards, or we can say credit cards can be used for the fee payments. So that type of initiation, also the technological advancement we are introducing the system now. So it will be more advantageous for the parents category as well as the teachers category as far as they are concerned. Some are having reluctance in the mind to use the computer. Once they are pressurized indirectly to log into the system, put your projects, put your assignments, they are automatically getting into the modern technologies developed.
So the transparency of educational governance is also increasing.
Transparency is also getting increased.
So we have been evangelizing the use and penetration of technology for all these while, but just being an academician, just being an educationist who had his education in the pre-computer era, like what are the some checks and balances you would like to suggest to the administrators of these educational institutions pertaining to the positioning of technology as a panacea for all the problems per se?
See, normally we have seen some reluctance in the management, reluctance in the users. Why? Because always people don't want a change. Change is difficult for them. And the second problem what we have seen in this particular area, what we are asking is the knowledge level of the users. The users' knowledge level is also limited sometimes.
Okay.
That will also create a problem for us. The third one is what we have observed is a lack of a good advisor for the management people to get good solution to their institution. Because of these three basic reasons, we are also facing difficulties in implementing a good system, to taking more time for implementing the process also. If we could get a good administrator, or we can say good advisor for the institution, or at least a single person from institution to interact with us, what is their requirements, what is the workflow, then things can be more better way it can be implemented and executed in the organization.
So what the specific question of mine was, while there are phenomenal advantages of technology, as we are all saying, transparency, efficiency and connectivity and all that, have you witnessed some pitfalls of it? Like technology as an enabler is fine, but in what fashion technology is probably becoming an entangler as well? Do you see a scenario in years to come when students are hooked on to their technological aspect? Is teaching somewhere getting hurt somewhere, or what kind of caveats the educationist should build up around the optimal usage of technology?
See, technology is not a complete solution, it is only a tool for them. Education has to happen, but the way the technology has to be or the education has to be imparted, it will act as a tool for them.
So this is something which has to be impressed upon by the
administrators or the academicians, because education has to be imparted the way they are expecting, and the students they are expecting, but there are tools can be utilized properly. This type of communication tools, this type of presentation tools, this type of tools can be utilized properly for the betterment of the education.
So how fast is the Indian scenario changing? Like what kind of time frame are you envisioning where the Indian schools or the Indian higher education institutions would get to the first level of automation or digitization or computerization in whatever fashion we call it?
Schools are concerned, they are already in the track.
Okay.
Higher education, they are going to catch the train. So that is what we observe.
But what time frame? Like
higher education is concerned, it may take another 10 years more.
10 years?
Yeah.
Another decade?
Yeah. 10 years it will take for the entire higher education sector to get automated.
But till that time we would be to the next level of technological...
Let it go. We will also improving the system. Accordingly, they can utilize the system accordingly. The way it is improving, they can be a part of the system also.
Okay.
But the schools are already in the runway. We can say it was already taken off well.
Okay.
And more institutions, they are using the system also. They want to use the system.
So this is the scenario of public schools or the private?
I'm telling about the public schools.
Okay.
I'm telling about the private schools. Public schools is private schools. But government schools are concerned, still it is not taken off anywhere.
So again, what kind of
outlook it will take another, we can say, depends upon the government's initiative.
Okay.
If the government initiatives is there, we can make it done in a, we can say 5 to 6 years time. Because single order is enough to execute something for the government. But success rate depends. The execution methodology, the level, how they are going to implement the system. That success rate we cannot predict now. But especially government sector is concerned, the success rate can be varying 50 to 60% relatively. But the 100% successful, we cannot expect from the government sector. But the private sectors are concerned, that if they are spending the money, things will be utilized also.
So the private schools you are meaning to say in the next 2 to 3 years?
It will come up. Almost all education institutions, we can say, it may come up in the 2 to 3 to 4 years.
So it's almost a long way to go
Yeah.
before the educational institutions in the country can leverage the effective usage of technology, because it is only the first step of automation of the various processes and systems of an educational institution. So today we had Mr. Shaji Thomas, the chairman of Entab Infotech Private Limited. It was really exciting talking to him and having his experienced and illumining views on the various aspects. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jacob.